On to early pollen. Okay, we've read that one. Dis. You don't see Dis at first, but you hear rustling followed by the screech of metal on metal. After a few minutes of looking, you spot Dis placing large rocks in front of a piece of corrugated metal leaning up against the wall. He stops and looks at you. You didn't see anything, he says, going back to covering up his tracks. So I think we've spotted Dis escaping from the colony. Tang is still saying we are not friends. Why do we talk to her? Pal's kneeling in the dirt, carefully planting pieces of potato. When I was a kid, I thought everything grew from chopped up pieces of bigger things. I mean, that's how it works for potatoes and onions. He sits back on his heels, a funny look on his face. I guess I must have never thought about how babies are made, huh? We found some medicinal roots. You meet your dad adjusting a watering pot in your mom's flower garden. He's having a sneezing fit, his eyes runny and red. You're alarmed. You've never seen him look sick before. People were hardly ever ill on the stratospheric, except sometimes when the zero-G rooms made them queasy. Not to worry, my little beanstalk, he says nasally. I'll be fine. It's just the pollen making my head a little stuffy. He wipes his nose with a handkerchief and looks around. Everywhere you turn, the air is soupy and tinged with pink from all the floating pollen. On Earth, your dad tells you, we used to call this hay fever. Even though it had nothing to do with hay, your mom cuts in, carrying a large bouquet of flowers. The native flowers seem to be in full bloom this time of year. She buries her nose deep in them, and they smell fantastic. Your dad smiles kindly and agrees that they sure are beautiful, then he blows his nose loudly. I'll sniff the flowers tentatively. They do smell good, and they look harmless. Your dad's eyes look a little sad, but maybe that's just the allergies. Hey, Selene, I know the last few weeks have been very hard for you. This might be a good time to relax and stick around in the quarters wing. Now, I just did that. And our mom... You learned at a young age not to sneak up on your mom. She's jumpy and gets kind of mean if someone surprises her. That's just how she's always been, and you've never questioned it. You always make sure to walk a little more heavy when she hasn't noticed you yet. What is her skill? She wants organizing, to continue her story. And Mars is still watching her shows. So, Jorenda, any opinion on what you'd like to see me focus on, skills-wise, what classes, etc.? What are the options? Okay. So we've got, over here in the garrison, we have sports ball and defense training. Sports ball will raise our bravery and toughness. Defense training will raise our combat and animals. In engineering, we have 3 classes. Life sciences, which will raise biology and reasoning. Studying engineering will raise engineering and reasoning. And then studying humanities will raise creativity and persuasion. We can relax in the living quarters, which will just boost our, or reset our stress back to max. Well, minimum. I guess since stress is a negative thing. We'll be back here at happiness, which is where we're basically at, so probably not right now. We shouldn't relax. Here we can work, delivering supplies, which will get us organizing and perception, as well as earn us 5 kudos. Yes, so last option is shoveling dirt, which raises toughness and friendship with Cal. So to raise friendship, each of the options will raise friendship with one person. There's also, when you talk to someone, they have sort of a quest line as you raise a specific skill. So Tang, who keeps on saying, we're not friends, she wants us to get our reasoning up. So I could go here into engineering. Any of these classes will raise our friendship 1 point with Tang. So that is an option. Or we could take something that is going to boost our reasoning, such as these two. And then eventually when we get to 20 reasoning, which we're currently at 17, then we could do that next progress. Yeah, so our mom storyline is going to take organizing, which I think was from the delivering supplies. I don't remember what the other skill in question for that one was. I've already forgotten it. Organizing and perception. We can deliver supplies. It's been a while since we've tried that one. And then maybe do some more reasoning stuff. You show up at the delivery depot bright and early, as most of the colony is still yawning and pawing around for their morning cup of blep tea. Seek is there with a large stack of thin white rectangles. Is that paper? Neat, so nostalgic? Boy of holopalms, why use paper? Or, that's terrible for the environment. Neat, that's so nostalgic. Yes, C comes. Governor Utica is quite sentimental when it comes to these things. She even signed each notice by hand. I myself have traded in my holopalm stylus for a pen. You're to deliver a stack of these reports to every council member in the colony. Seek asked you not to read them, but says it's just boring adult stuff you wouldn't understand anyway. You clutch the papers to your chest and nod. First stop is engineering. Paper? Dr. Instance is exasperated. The governor's sending messages by paper now? Is this a joke? Tell me this is a joke. You shuffle your feet nervously. Seek seemed serious to you. She skims the first page, muttering to herself, and there's sensitive information in here of all the superfluous, technophobic, sentimental foolishness. You back quietly away. Next stop, the cafeteria. Antecedent takes the notices carefully with both hands. Paper! What a strange idea. And oh look, Governor Utica has even signed it. What a marvelous handwriting she has. I wonder what I'm supposed to do with this once I'm finished reading it, she thinks out loud. Throw it in a disassembler? It seems far too precious for that. Will I need to get a filing cabinet in here, I wonder? I suppose I can recycle it for craft time. Next up is the expeditions office. Tonnen meets you outside. He's struggling under the shifting weight of an enormous crate. It appears that whatever's inside wants out. Sorry, Selene, could you just put them down on that bench? I'll take them inside in a minute. Another surveyor overhears and laughs. The governor's sending paper memos now? Is she really that old? What's next, toilet paper? The moment you put the documents down, a gust of wind picks them back up and they fly everywhere. You snatch for them, but accidentally drop the rest of the stack you're holding. Scramble to pick them all up will get us doing paperwork, card, or I guess memory, or this is pointless, which gives us a sabotaging card. Again, I'm playing a good kid, so we're gonna scramble to pick them all up. You shove the papers back together haphazardly, embarrassed at your clumsiness. I know, it was a +5 memory. But to some extent, this is a role-playing game. Like, I could just go for what is mechanically the best option, which in my first playthrough, well, first and second, I looked up guides and did take a lot of optimal routes. But this time I'm trying to just get into the story. You shove the papers back together haphazardly, embarrassed at your clumsiness. Oh, if my organizing was higher, I could sneak a peek. But unfortunately it's not, so I will refrain from sneaking any peeks. You dutifully deliver the remaining reports to Chief Rhett and your mom, who both seem confused they weren't sent by the HoloNet. You're a good boy, and a good delivery person. You feel proud and important for delivering all the messages just like you were told. This card's gonna get a +1 to whatever I put there. So this gets +1 for each unplayed card, so as I add more cards, the value is going to drop, which is kind of awkward. Like, trying to math out what that's going to end up being is challenging. But 18 seems respectable. I don't know of any obvious changes to make it go higher. Ah. Victorious. You worked well this month. We got our max score, which gained us 3 organizing, 1 perception, some kudos, and a slight bonus with Mars. Our organizing is still only a 12, so it'll be a while before we can do our mom's quest. You spot Mars tapping away at her holoscreen. She appears to be trying different clothing options on a digital doll maker. Look, Selene, she says, showing you her work. You can look like anything you want. I always thought I would look good with, like, horns, maybe. She hums. Maybe I can ask engineering about it. Let's see. You spot your dad catching a break inside the geoponics domes. He takes a huge glug from his canteen, then upends the rest over his face. Whew, he exclaims. Wish I could take my eyes out of my head, wash them off, and pop them back in. He laughs at the look on your face. Too gross? Too gross. Sorry, kiddo. This pollen is just so itchy. A lot of people in geoponics get sick this time of year, especially your dad. Because the pollen doesn't bother her as much, your mom has to work extra hard to pick up the slack. Hey, Selene, she says, wiping her brow. Do you need something? I'm a little busy. Nope. Cal's scooting an empty wheelbarrow through the gardens. Beep beep, he cheers. I'm a garden bot, get out of my way. He pulls up beside you and laughs. Hey Selene, what's happening? Cal's good people. We've read that one before. We've read that one before. Okay, we're not friends. We could give her a gift. I happen to know that she likes the medicinal roots, if I'm recalling correctly. Yeah. I've got a cheat sheet for liked gifts, so we'll give her this root that we found on the ground. This is interesting, is all Tang says, taking the root and turning them over in her hands. Her lip curls in distaste at the dirt that still clings to them. No, really, she protests when she sees the look on your face. I'm going to analyze these roots to see if they have any useful properties. They might be medicinal. She turns to walk away, then remembers herself. Thank you, she adds, almost as an afterthought. So that gained us 2 more friendship with Tang. Where are our friendships at? So we've got the max with Cal at 29. Tang looks like she's next at 17. Anemone's 11. Dis is 4. Mars is 13. So actually, Dis is the one we should be putting our effort into raising, because he's the lowest. And I'm pretty sure we have talked to everyone. So we'll do some more engineering this month. So I think that was the most reasoning we could get, right? Yeah. You're bringing supplies to medbay when you see something unusual. Tangent, curled up on a bench, her head pillowed on a rolled-up lab coat. She's fast asleep. You stop and stare. You never see Tang sleeping. She's always so busy. You're surprised You're surprised she even has time to nap. You turn to leave her in peace when you bump into Anemone. What? Anemone says, she hardly ever sleeps, like just a couple hours a night. Is she sick or something? You look back at Tangent, snoozing peacefully. We learn Tangent's augment. I'm so jealous of her genetic enhancement, Anemone says, rubbing at one of her scales sprouting on her jawline. She hardly needs to sleep at all. She's probably stayed up all night studying for this morning's history test. Shh, let her sleep, or, there was a test? We're a good student. I'm gonna assume we knew about a test. Tang's holopon beeps a soft alarm. She sits up and stretches, looking totally refreshed and alert. She sees you watching and looks annoyed. Just a power nap, she says. No reason to gawk. So we've got this locked in. I probably would have put a 0 there anyway, so not a big deal. Something like that, I think. It's possible tossing in a 1 could have helped, but somewhere with that, but I think that's good. Nope, that was the best. 4 engineering, 2 reasoning, and more friendship with Tang. You're finishing breakfast in the common area when Marzipan struts in. Look at you, eating cereal, she says, turning her nose up at you. I'll bet you don't even know what today is. Your birthday? No, you dummy, she exclaims, swatting at your shoulder. My birthday is the first month of the wet season. You better remember that. We learned Mars's birthday. Today, she announces to the room, is St. Valentine's Day. Dis and Cal wander over to hear more. Back on Earth, Mars explains, it was a day when everybody had to give their best friend a gift, especially sweets. And then you put the sweets under your pillow, and it makes you dream about who you're going to marry. And there are decorations of hearts and arrows and pigs. Cal laughs. Pigs? We don't even have pigs here. Before Mars can answer, Dis snorts. This is dumb. Marzipan just made it up to get free candy. He rolls his eyes and walks away. As he leaves, Mars shouts at his back, well, nobody was going to pick you anyway. You stink. Valentine's Day sounds like fun. I know who my best friend will be, or I think it's dumb too. Sounds like fun. Cal nods, clapping his hands excitedly. I'm going to tell all the other kids about it, Marge says, so you go around and find your best friend and give them a gift. She points her finger at you. Make sure you do it by the end of the day or it doesn't count. And if too many people want to be my best friend, she adds, I'll hold tryouts for the position. It's only fair. She tosses her hair over her shoulder and laughs. Put chocolates under your pillow, this is a great idea. Yep. So, who is our best friend, Jorenda? If we just go by hearts, our best friend is Cal. But we could probably raise a relationship of our choice by choosing them as our best friend. So who should we choose? You want to go with Cal? Who's our second highest after Cal? Looks like it's Tangent. At 18. Leaning towards Cal. Alright. Cal's cool. We'll set him as our best friend. Let's talk to everyone else first. Peng is kind of rude. That's super true. We'll talk to everyone first and then talk to Cal. Mars has clearly been waiting for someone to come ask her to be their BFF, but she's trying to play it cool, looking expectant and nonchalant at the same time. She's tapping her foot kind of idly, looking around at nothing. On second thought, Mars looks totally hurt for a second, then says, I'm booked anyway, no room for more friends, goodbye. Peng. Tangent is waving her hands vigorously in the air. She's playing a study game on her holopalm where you have to match falling numbers into correct equations. She barely notices you come up. So we could say, logically, we should be best friends because our reasoning is 10 or more. We just ask her to be our best friends, or on second thought, gifts for everyone. We can only choose one person for Valentine's. We could potentially give gifts. We have a couple of things. So logs, I don't think anyone likes. The crystal cluster, I think is Mars. Yeah. So Mars likes the crystal cluster, so we can give that to her. At the moment, I don't think we can give gifts because we're in this event. Anemone's kicking a sports ball from foot to foot without letting it touch the ground. She fakes like she's going to pass it to you, then kicks it sideways and runs over to catch it before you can get there. Too slow, she giggles. Do you really want to be BFFs with this silly girl? On second thought, she teases you again, then goes back to balancing the sports ball on her knee. Dis. You find Dis watching the jungle through a gap in the fence, kicking the dirt with his toe. He's quiet when you walk up. He must be in one of his moods. We can watch with him because we would need empathy 10 or greater. Hey, want to be best friends, or on second thought? I'm going to choose this option because it's not asking about the best friends, but I think it will go that direction. But we do need more friendship with Dis, because I think he's only at like 4. So we'll watch with him. You sit and watch the jungle with him for a while. You ask if he's ever been on the other side of the fence. Dis nods quietly. A few times, yeah. There's a way through behind the garrison building. You both sit in silence again for a long while until he breaks it by saying, it's really nice out there. We can now sneak out in expeditions. Dis is fine. Anemone is cool. She's your second choice. Dis is cool. He's one that I do want to build up friendship with. Dis doesn't look up, but he does mumble a goodbye. That's progress. But if we can start exploring, I think that will boost our friendship reasonably quickly. So I'm fine with going with Cal. Unless there's been a last minute change and you want to choose someone else. Cal's standing on top of a bluff, carefully pouring a bucket of water down the dirt on one side. He's covered in mud. Hey, check out my mudslide, he exclaims. He grabs a piece of sheet metal and slides down the dirt pile like he's riding a surfboard. Mud goes everywhere. He jogs back up and hands you the sheet of metal. You try now. Okay. You make it down without bailing, but get mud splattered all over your legs. It is pretty fun, though, like a hoverboard, but crunchier. Want to be best friends forever? He replies, scuffing his toe in the dirt. I guess so? I lost my old best friend, so yeah, okay. Want to try the mudslide again? You spend another hour on the mudslide until you are both thoroughly covered from head to toe. You couldn't be happier. Haha. So I think... yeah, a little bit of exploring won't hurt. We won't get far away from camp, or from our colony. Mars is in a huff. Ah, because you didn't pick her for Valentine's Day? Seems like nobody picked her. Oh, we lost 2 friendship with Mars. She crosses her arm and scowls at you. You just felt sorry for Cal, didn't you? Look, we all miss Tammy, okay? Whatever, Mars mutters, tossing her hair. I'm just too mature for kids my age. The older kids get me, even if you don't. So, yeah, we can go over here to the garrison. I thought leaving would be through there, or maybe... Ah, here we go. You've seen Dis use this drain pipe behind the garrison to sneak through the walls. There's a metal grate that comes off and you can crawl through. Do you want to go out there? So, are we going to do something in the colony, or should we go out and explore? We've got a sneak out vote from Jarenda. And a good kid vote from Pseudonym. I'm going to sneak out. Since it's 50-50, it's my choice. So this will gain us some bravery, perception, and more friendship with Dis. Also, showing off more mechanics of the game is always good. So here we are. We've got this... Events in this area can be done in any order. They won't cause time to pass, but they will increase your stress. Return home via the Expeditions Depot flag, or the home button at the top left of the screen. Watch for collectible items you can bring back as gifts. Events respawn at the beginning of each year, and new collectibles have a chance to appear every season. Yeah, so now we can potentially find collectibles. There's a bunch of events we can go through and see what's out here. So we'll start with this one, because it seems to be important. You slipped through the drain pipe and out of the colony before anyone saw you. Anyone, that is, except for a dark form watching you from the trees nearby. Could that be... Is that Dis? He turns and disappears into the jungle. Now you're sure of it, that was definitely Dis. He's not allowed outside the colony either. I don't want to shout his name because we're sneaking around. That seems like it'd be a poor choice. We'll follow him, just quietly. Gained a bit of stress. You scamper after him through the brush, heedless of the branches and brambles scraping at your arms and legs. Without a proper enviro suit, you get all scratched up. This kid is fast. You quickly lose sight of Dis and can't find his trail again, but you do learn something by trying. We gain +1 perception. So exploring is one of the best ways to quickly pick up skills, because in a single time period, we can gain a ton of skills. But it will probably max out our stress if we explore until we run out of stress, which I think is the best use of time. Your way is blocked by a strange, small creature with 1 foot and 4 large eyes, 2 of which blink sideways on top of its head like frog eyes. Oh, this must be a hop eye. You've heard people talk about them, but you've never seen one up close. It keeps thumping its foot on the ground really loud. We can try and push past it, find another way around it, or take the challenge. What is its deal? We'll take the challenge. Our goal is to get up to 27. 0, 1, 2? Sure. Oh, that doesn't count. 0, 1, 2. There we go. I was like, that doesn't count as a straight? Not if I put them in the wrong order. Next round. So this is another one of the ones that... This one is boosting up this 0 to a 1. We'll just toss on a 5. Looks like we're easily going to make our goal. We'll go with 0, 0, 1, 2, 2. And get a super goal. Nowhere near our best possible score. It's fine. We gain +1 animals. As well as +1 animals and +1 perception. You stop trying to get past it and just listen. Oh, you can hear a little squeaking noises from nearby. It's probably warning you away from its nest. You carefully avoid the nest while speaking in soothing tones. The agitated little guardian titters warnings at you, but eventually lets you by. And so now we can continue farther. We've got an egg over here. We'll want to grab that. So our path gets blocked. Like I'm trying to walk down, but I can't because I can't go past this. So in order to make it farther around, we have to go through these events. Oh, we can see there's a log down there that we could grab if we could headed that way. I guess we'll just follow the trail. Why not? Plants grow fast during pollen. They've choked the path here and you can't see an obvious way through. Then we will push our way through the plants using a perception challenge. Goal 27 again. 0, 0, 1. That will give us 4 points, or 0, 1, 2 will give us 7 points. We'll go that way. 0, 0, 2, 2, all blue. And 0, 1, 2, 2. We could go here. We lose a kudo every time we use this card. So I'll just take a lower score to save the kudo. Because all you get for maxing out the score is you earn a kudo. So I don't think it's worth it. We'll win. So we gained +1 perception. You find a good stick and whack, whack, whack your way through that tangle of new growth. Take that, nature. We gained a 3-point card for getting lost in the fog. What else can we see? We can see our stress is slowly growing. The top of the rise off to the east, you think you spot someone watching you. They're dressed in black. Is that Dis? But they look way too tall to be Dis. Maybe it's another surveyor? You blink and the figure is gone. Must have been my imagination, or hike over there and look for clues. We're gonna try and figure out this strange, tall, dark figure. You bushwhack down into the valley and up the other path to where you thought you saw them standing. Gained a perception and 5 stress. No signs of a camp or anything obvious like a dropped pack. No note saying, I'm watching you, signed mysterious figure. Spooky. But we did get a mysterious stranger 1 card. Which means that there are probably mysterious stranger cards for other numbers. We'll go to this one because this is the main quest for this exploration cycle. You spot Dis sitting in a clearing, but not before he sees you first. Instead of sneaking away as usual, he stays still as you approach, like it's totally natural that he'd be sitting in the middle of the jungle so far away from the colony walls. Now that you think about it, you're a little glad to see him. You are so far away that you can't see the walls anymore. And it's really weird out here, and it's getting late. Dis stares unblinkingly at you as you approach. Hi, Selene, is all he says. Your sister's worried about you. Hi, Dis. Why are you out here? Or I'm going to tell on you. I'll just say hi. I don't think he cares that his sister's worried about him. He seems to be in a good mood, something you see very rarely. Did you see Utopia out there? Dis asks. Chief Surveyor Tonin is easy to sneak past, but Utopia has like X-ray vision or something. She'll catch you for sure if you get too close. She caught me once and I got in big trouble. How about I show you something cool and sneaking out will be our secret, okay? He jumps up and walks a little ways into the trees. You follow. Just a few minutes away, the ground drops off and a large stone outcropping juts out over a cliff face. Dis walks right to the edge without slowing. It's a long way down. Come on, he says. Let's try and be brave. 2, 2, 2. 0, 0, 0, 0. Sure. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, and then that dropped to a 2. I don't know. That'll be slightly higher. Good enough. Hey, and it was the max score. So +1 bravery, +1 kudo. We gained 30 stress back. That's super nice. A perception, got a memory, and 2 friendship with Dis. You bravely step onto the rock and walk out to the edge with Dis. You both sit down, feet dangling over the precipice, and look out at the amazing view. It's incredible. You snap a picture with your holopalm, but you won't share it on the net. This is your secret, yours and Dis's. We'll keep exploring because we still have some stress left. So we can come back here to immediately go home, or we can just go home. Through either clicking this button or walking all the way back. Here's a strange creature. Let's go check it out. There in the clearing, the most majestic creature you've ever seen. It's like a unicorn from your dad's storybooks, but with leathery reptile skin that shines when the light hits it. It moves so softly, like it doesn't even disturb the ground. It could be dangerous, but you want to see what it does. It's like a weird unicorn centaur thing. Be as quiet as possible. Perception challenge. Alright, let's see what we can do. We could boost both of these zeros up to a 1 by using that card. So we'll go that route. 2, 2, 2, 2. Sure. Zero. Probably won't be a 1 when we get to the end of this. 2, 3, 0, 2, 2. So this one, the beautiful Vista card we just got, you'll notice the multicolored background on it. That means it's a wild card for the color. So it counts as a blue because it's by these. So these are really valuable whenever we can find the wild cards. But yeah, we'll just go with that. Could have gotten up to 23, so we were nowhere near the max, but I also didn't want to use the one that cost me a kudo. As you settle in to watch it from behind a strand of mush trees, the Unisar looks up toward you, startled by your movement. You try to hold perfectly still and quiet your breathing. We gained an animal. After a tense moment, it goes back to its business. First, it sniffs out a good tree and rubs the scent glands on its neck against it thoroughly. Then it pees like a crystal waterfall on a rock. Everything it does seems magical. You quietly take a picture with your holopalm, but you know you can't share it or you'd get caught for sneaking out. We gained another point in animals. Next, it sharpens its horn against the rock, which is scored with marks from having done this before. This must be its favorite sharpening rock. You notice the bulge in its stomach. It must have had a huge meal recently. We gained 30 more happiness. Eventually, it curls up for a nap. You quietly sneak away. This was so wonderful. Vertumna is a magical place. So periodically, we'll find those events that will lower our stress and allow us to explore a bit farther. And so those are always good to find when we can. You're minding your business when you stumble into... This low valley has collected a lot of that thick pollen. You cough and try to push your way through it, but it's pollen all the way down. Surveyors get nice helmets with built-in masks, but yours is just a cheap one. At least the pollen isn't too thick here. We'll try and find a way through. Let's see. 2, 2, 2. Because that's wild, both of them count as being pairs, red and yellow. 0, 0, 0, 2? Nope, 0, 2. Work with me here. That is a terrible score. Okay. And what if we instead go 0, 2, 2, 5? And we just leave the zeros alone. 0, 1, 2. 5, 0. I don't know. I'd rather save the kudos. I don't need the extra point for winning. Gained another perception. So our skills are going up throughout this whole time we've been here quite a lot. Gained a bit more stress and a perception. Blech, this pollen makes your face itch. It makes it all the better when you find a route to higher ground and come out of the worst of it. We found another egg. You come across a cluster of mush trees. They're not fully grown yet, but they're still pretty big. It might be good to harvest them before they get all gross and mushy during the rainy season. If you were older, you could probably cut them down and get some kudos for them. We'll just give them a friendly pat. You like the mush trees. You give one a pat and are surprised when it moves under your hand. It's not the tree though, but a camouflaged creature lying against its trunk. It's small and looks like a little like an octopus or a starfish. Lots of long legs wrapped around the tree like it's giving it a hug. So we gain +1 perception and +1 animals. Another log. We are up at 95 stress, so this is probably going to be our last event unless it boosts our mood. You let your mind wander as you're walking and bumble straight into a field of gelatinous blob grass. Totally transparent. The sticky fronds are hard to see, but even harder to ignore, especially once they start glomming on your boots and slowing you down. It's like trudging through thick mud. You stubbornly decide to keep going, paying close attention to the visible signs of this blob grass field, and there aren't many, just an absence of other vegetation. We'll look for a path through it. 0, 0, whoa, 0, 0, 0. We get the straight, or the 3 of a kind, and color bonus. We got a lot of 0 cards. We need to start getting rid of those. 2, 2, 2, and 2. That'll be good. Then, this is going to be a 3 at the end, if I recall. Oh no, it changed into a 2. Alright. Sure. We'll shift all these over so I can put the 5 by these to get us a tiny bit more points. Sure, gained our perception and a bit more stress. There it is. You can hop along from that rock to that fallen log, then climb over those old pieces of surveying equipment. You get through the villainous blob grass. You spend a bunch of time on it though, and it takes some tricky balancing. It's tiring. You're too worn out and tired to continue. You have to go home now. Alright, we'll go home. And then we gained an additional +2 bravery and +1 perception. And that moves us from late pollen to early dust.